Pilkington.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this programme. This is Audible.
Hello, welcome to number 5, season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
hello,
and Carl Pilkington.
Hello.
Coming up, Carl's going to teach us all about Sigmund Freud.
No, we're not doing that.
Well, no,
Yes,
we
we
are,
are.
because last week we promised people that you'd research Sigmund Freud.
Yeah, but I had a look, but I didn't find him that interesting, so...
Well, that's not...
But this is what I mean, this is what we were talking about. You say you wish you could go back and learn stuff in school because you didn't. You want knowledge. You always say about you want to learn
Yeah, I
something
want
a
to
day.
learn something interesting every day.
Yeah, but you've got that...
I had a look at the website. It just...
SigmundFreud.com. Yeah, he started that,
I just had a look. I just did a search on, like, famous quotes from...
Quotes. Brilliant. That'll get you everything you need, a quote.
Well, I don't need to know his history.
That sums up a man's life work, a quote.
No, but that's what you're remembered for, isn't it? Churchill will go on the beaches and all that. Sigmund didn't really have any sort of...
Catchphrases is what you mean.
Yeah, things that you hear.
Yeah, sound bites. He wasn't good with the press.
Brilliant. So you weren't bothered to learn about it?
Well,
you didn't even pick up a book?
I wouldn't know where to start.
Do you feel like you're thinking in your head?
Sometimes, like then I was. But I don't know if I am, because it's got a mind of its own, hasn't it? Did look at some of the things that he'd said, and the one...
Do it now. What have you learnt about Freud? Okay, here we go. This is Carl Educates Ricky and Steve. Number 1, Sigmund Freud. Carl, tell us what you learnt about Sigmund Freud.
Right. All I remember was that he said a baby... You look at a little baby having some milk from its mum's breast, right? It looks well happy. It has enough. It's full up. It goes to sleep. It's got a smile on its face, right? He said that's what happens when you're older as well. That's all I remember from all the things that he was saying on his thing. He just said it's weird how it's like...
Now, to be fair, Rick, that is obviously in translation.
Yeah, I know.
From the original, so I don't want you...
No, I'm not going to go
Freud.
Freud. I mean, Freud has been discredited on some issues, and we've moved on with experimental psychology and
But that's the one that was interesting.
I don't quite follow. So what do you take from that? Explain that to us in layman's terms.
I don't know.
Well, that's pointless. Without application, knowledge is pointless.
But it's not knowledge, is it? He's just saying drink milk all your life. It's good for you.
No, he's not saying drink milk all your life. What is this? Is this an advert he's doing
now? He
also
came up with go to work on an egg.
Yeah, oh Christ almighty.
But like I said, I wasn't that impressed by his work. So
unbelievable.
Carl is allowed to vote. He's allowed to cast a vote in this country. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I wish I hadn't. I've only done it once, and look what happened. I got called up for jury duty. Not doing it again. People do what they do anyway. I think they only let us vote, so we feel like we're having a say in what's going on. But really, it just carries on, doesn't it? I haven't seen a big change.
But that's exactly why you vote.
No, the best thing you can do is look after yourself. Get on with it.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I hope that's a quote. I hope someone out there who's, maybe making a dictionary of quotes or an encyclopedia, and they've finished with Freud, they've done Pavlov, he hit a dog on the head with a stick. Next, Carl Pilkington. Carl Pilkington, what do you say about the world? Just get on with it.
Well, we're not in charge of it, is what I'm saying.
That's nearly as good as let's go to the beach. Winston Churchill.
I spoke to my dad about it, and he called up saying, I'm sick of
we're going to get some quality thinking here. Go on.
Go on.
No, he was saying about global warming and that. Yeah. He was saying he's sick of hearing about it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, that's just the world, and we're all getting old, and the world's getting old. That's the end of it.
Brilliant. What another amazing quote.
Well, it is. What we're trying to do. This is what I'm saying about we don't like people to get old. We're always saying, we can change that face, we can lift your chin up, we can put a wig on you.
Why are
It's
you
the same-
so annoyed about people wanting to live a little bit longer?
Because enough's enough is what I'm saying. The world's the same. It's just getting old, and you know, it used to have more green on it, but now it's gone a bit bald, so it hasn't got as much green. It's got more soil. Treat the world like a head.
That's an amazing quote.
Treat the world like a head.
You've actually come up with one there. I thought of another phrase. You could just sitting here talking to you, flogging a dead horse.
Yeah.
What do you think that means? Flogging a dead horse.
A number of people are still amazed by your complete lack of understanding some of these famous sayings and phrases. So,
Well, that's an easy one.
Yeah, that's like you know, get a new horse, or
No, he hasn't got it.
no one's going to buy it
No, it doesn't mean that sort of flogging.
when you're hitting it.
Yeah.
right.
So what's the point in hitting it? So
It's dead anyway, so don't bother hitting it. It's
absolutely,
not feeling
it's pointless. It's a it just means it's a waste of time.
Yeah, but it depends what that horse has done to you.
No, it doesn't.
No, it does. It's that thing, innit, of like if a bear attacked you and you managed to hit it on the head and it went down, you'd go and you'd be annoyed. You'd still have built-up aggression. You give it an extra clout.
Unbelievable!
That's extraordinary.
I don't know who's compiling this book.
Sometimes it's worth flogging a dead horse if he did something to you, if he annoyed you.
Carl, I've got a couple of little facts for you, just to try and inflame your imagination.
Go on.
Sharks are immune to cancer.
Really?
Yeah.
So how have they found that out?
Well, I don't know, but
But I've never heard of any fish having cancer though. I haven't heard of a cod being ill. So why are we focusing on that one?
good point. Okay. Stroking a spider can cause its hair to fall out.
What? Because it doesn't like it and it gets stressed out, or is it just that some people are rubbing too hard?
No, I don't think it's they're rubbing too hard. I think it's something to do with. I mean, what sort of maniac is stroking a spider anyway?
My mum did it once.
Really?
Yeah, not to a spider. It
Right.
was just a little bee. She'd been out, sunny day and that. Got the washing off the washing line. She was bringing it in. Little bee sat on the top of like the bed sheet or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And she's in the kitchen with it, and she goes, "Look at that little bee there." She started sort of stroking its head. And it loved it.
How did it make it clear that it loved
Well,
it?
it wasn't struggling. It was just sat there like, because it must have been like a bit dozy. They get a bit dozy, don't they, in the heat and that. And he just stayed there on the sheet, and she sort of stroked its head for a bit, and she had to put it out. It didn't go out. It didn't try and escape. It was like, "You've had enough now." And that was that. She sent it out. She loved all that. She loved little flies and stuff. And we had Harry the housefly.
What?
Harry the housefly.
What do you mean?
It's just a fly that always seems to knock about in one corner of the room.
Right, it's the same fly, was it?
Yeah, it was the same fly. Yeah.
How do you know it was the same back?
Well, we weren't letting him in. It's just that it stayed in.
Carl, what makes you think it was a pet housefly as opposed to a different fly every day?
Because it was always in the same place in the corner.
But it could have been that something about that particular place that attracted flies rather than it was the same fly.
Well, I'm never worried about it. It wasn't harming us. It just always hung about.
But how do you know it was the same fly? How do you
I don't
recognise
know.
it?
We weren't worried about it. It doesn't matter, does it? If like we're thinking another fly's getting a bit of free rent or something, just let it stay. I don't understand
But why no? Well, no, right, okay. You're in a house, right? There's flies, okay.
Not flies, fly.
Why do you think it was the same fly for all those years?
Just because we haven't got loads of other flies. At no point was there a crossover period where there's two, and it's like, hang on a minute, he's trying it on here. That's what I mean. It was always just one on its own. We just thought, leave it. It's all right. I don't know why are you suspicious? Why you always think someone's out to do you?
I don't know why you assumed when you see a fly every now and again that it's exactly the same fly.
It just
fact that
was.
it's Harry.
The one in our house was the same one.
How do you know?
Well, alright, I don't, but at no point did I feel suspicious. Speaking of flies, though, and that, they've got one, right? I was out with Ricky, right, and he was reading the paper. There was a story there about a fly that its eyesight was bad or something, and they've made it a pair of glasses, and it had a picture of a housefly wearing.
Okay, this is incredible,
Glasses.
Steve. Can I take over?
Hang on, let me just need to finish a couple of questions for that. So there's a small fly and they've made it a pair of glasses.
Yeah.
So that it can see better.
Yeah.
And your concern is what?
Well, again, it's just that thing of we're looking after everything now, aren't we?
Sorry, I've got to come in here, Steve.
Alright.
I showed you the
You saw
story.
it, you saw
it. was
it.
a picture of a housefly
Fly,
with a pair of glasses
on, yeah.
Right? It was about a one-sentence thing. It was about how far technology's come,
Yeah,
and a
we're
group
helping
of
science
scientists
out.
using microscopy, right, and laser tools had, as an exhibition, shown that they could make a pair of glasses smaller to fit on a hat. They put it on there and they'd taken a picture of it, and it's on as a display. At no point was it actually, because the fly had bad eyesight, the fly was presumably dead, it was purely an art installation or a show of technology.
I thought you were going to say, Rick, that you'd drawn the glasses on there.
Yeah.
And he believed it like, there's a bearded lady in this paper. No. My God, Tony Blair looks like Adolf Hitler. No.
What do you think of that, though?
But they did it as an
Flies out.
experiment.
Yeah, but all things start as an
But
experiment.
why would they make a pair of glasses for a fly?
How would they know he had bad eyesight?
How would they know it was the same fly?
Bumping into stuff? I don't know.
Bumping into stuff.
But why would they bother making glasses for it?
And they've got a compound eye. They'd have to make about 1,000 pairs of glasses for a fly.
It's just that thing, innit, of human nature is something's wrong with something, let's fix it. And they try and help people out all the time, don't they? When you know, we're always doing it. We're always trying to help people out instead of just going, you've been dealt a duff card, cope with it. They're always fiddling, always fiddle about. It's like that bit about what was it? You see, this is technology going mad and that. They're doing operations on people, right? And instead of injecting you with stuff that knocks you out, they're going to hypnotise you, and they operate on you when you're hypnotised, but you're still awake, so you sat there awake, you're aware of what's going on around you, but you can't feel anything because someone's hypnotised you. Why are we messing about with that when there's nothing wrong with the injection?
Well, there are. I mean, it's not healthy to constantly give someone
Very dangerous.
anesthetics.
Very
But you
dangerous time.
just said it yourself there, constantly. If you
If you
keep
do
coming in
multiple
having stuff
operations
done,
on someone,
don't be doing multiple operations.
well, sometimes you need to
Why?
because of
Knack it,
whatever the
forget
complaint
it.
may be.
Yeah, but no, not multiple. Give them 1 or 2 max. After 2, it's like enough's enough. We've operated on you. We fixed that. We're not fixing anymore because it's just going to be there's going to be something else wrong with you because you're getting old, like the world. Get on with it. That's what I'm saying. Stop sort of ploughing stuff into it. Like I've said before about a car. You know, the gearbox has gone. All right, we'll replace it. Oh, exhaust. Well, all right, we'll put an exhaust on it. Oh, the oil filter. Forget it. Came up with a good idea.
We'll be the judge of that.
Well, I do it now. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, I'm sticking my neck out here, but I think this isn't going to be a good idea.
Okay.
Thoughts?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to second that motion.
Okay, let's see if we're both right.
See-through skin.
High five, Rick.
Well, I heard, and you told me this, so I know it's true. Do you know when I talked about replacing blood with ink?
Yeah.
They can do it, not with ink. Coconut, what was it?
Well, one, it said coconut milk can be used as plasma, but I haven't had that verified because it's off one of those websites where there are spurious facts. I've seen facts like the Impala's fur is nearly the same colour as grape juice, which I don't know who's that aimed at. I don't know, you know. It's so.
What do you think of that, Steve? I mean, I've sort of touched on it.
But I've just got to echo what Ricky said. I can't have an opinion unless it's been verified.
But why aren't you just being open-minded enough to go, well?
No.
But
It's
it's
not
not
being
pushing being
open-minded.
open-minded.
Open-minded is being open to the facts that the possibility. Open-minded isn't believing everything you hear. You don't believe everything you read, do you?
A lot of stuff you kind of go, well, that's interesting.
But what we talked about this? What about Noah's Ark?
What about it?
Well, you said you believed it because it's in book form, but according to that, didn't he get 2 of every species on a big boat? But we know that's impossible, don't we?
Depends where he was. If he was above a zoo, there would have been a lot of different stuff knocking about. That's my only problem with
that. The
zoo
hasn't got 1% of all animal species.
No, but they've got more. What I'm saying is, where was he floating? Where he could get an elephant, a giraffe, a cat, a dog, a gerbil. Where were all these things floating about?
Well, exactly.
Right, these Old Testament zoos, they were quite...
Yeah, but exactly. But you're right. You're questioning it. How is it possible?
But I've just said a zoo.
But what are you talking about? A zoo? As I said, there's no zoo that has got 1% of all animal species.
Well, I don't know where he got them from then.
There's a couple of million species of animal. And how did he round these animals up?
Because they were drowning, so they were looking for any boat.
So they were actively seeking out an ark.
Well, they would have just been looking for anything to get hold of.
Yeah, and where did he keep them all? How did he keep them all separate?
At that point...
Oh no, the lions at the otter.
No, because at that point, it's that thing, innit, of how you all pull together in a bad situation.
Talk shit.
You all chip in, they're all like, oh god, let's be nice to our neighbours.
Right, so there's spiders talking to flies and...
Well, they would have just gone elsewhere, wouldn't they? They would
have
been on another bit of the boat. The spiders don't have to knock about the lions just because they're all in it together. They get their own little area, don't they?
Well, I don't know. How big is this boat?
It's big. It's a big boat. How long? What was the warning he got from God to make it?
I don't know.
It was a couple of weeks.
He probably had the Extreme Makeover Home Edition team. They all chipped in. Probably had Queer Eye for a Straight Guy helping him out with some of the
interior design elements.
Yeah. 2 of every species, Carl. How big would this boat have to be?
Yeah, it's big.
You can't just keep saying it's big, because I know in your mind, you're imagining this ark, there's a boat with Noah up the front with his wife, 2 giraffes behind him, then next there, 2 elephants, and it's just like elephant, giraffe, hippo, dog, cat, weasel, couple of frogs, and a spider talking to a fly going, let's get on, but when we're off here, you're dead.
But what would you have done then? Are you saying that you wouldn't get on there because it's too noisy?
It's not a question of what it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
To be honest, I'm not bothered, and they got through it, didn't they? They got through it. They're here now. We're not short of them. If anything, like I said, he didn't do us a favour because he saved too much. You can't move out there for stuff.
Chimpanzee, that he's running it down again, you fucking...
That's the jingle for excerpts from Carl's diary. This is all legitimate stuff. Ricky and I have had no input in this. This is the first time we get to read it. Went and did some shopping for stuff as it was my turn. Suzanne moaned a bit because I forgot orange juice and bought some cheap toilet paper. She always buys the expensive toilet paper. I don't know why they make toilet paper with pretty patterns on it.
That made it into the diary.
Up and out at 9 o'clock to go to the Cotswolds. Now I think this was a gift for your girlfriend, wasn't it, for her birthday?
Yeah, it was a
you went to the
birthday and
Cotswolds,
so I just went for one night.
Got the car and headed off. We stopped at a service station to get some breakfast. We had fried toast with an egg on it, 1 sausage and beans, twice. Cost us £13.85. They sell everything separate, so it seems cheap. At that price, we must have been charged for each bean. We found the B&B, but they wouldn't let us in the room because we were early. We went for a walk. There was not much around the B&B, so we had a quick walk around the car park and went back in. Happy birthday. The room was now ready. It's an alright room. 3 biscuits, so I ate them straight away. Like a child.
Like a dog. He runs in, jumps on the bed. No.
Get off the bed, not on the furniture. The room overlooked the car park that we'd already been round. Just staring at the window. Remember when we went there?
We'd always have the car park.
Yeah. Oh God! The room had posh coat hangers in the wardrobe with sponge on them.
So I ate the sponge.
Don't think they are needed. We went and booked a table for Sunday dinner and went on another walk. There was a field that was there just for birds to live on. We couldn't see any, so we went to the pub. Headed back to where we were staying for our dinner, I had beef. It was nice enough, but there was a family of 13 behind us. I don't see the point in going out in large numbers. They annoyed me. One of the family asked for sorbet before his next course. He was only about 11. He thought he was it. I said to Suzanne, I've had enough and needed a kip. Watched Planet Earth on BBC One. They filmed a panda for 4 weeks and all it did was sit in its cave. It did nout. If I was Fiat, I wouldn't name one of my cars after them as it suggests it won't work or go very far. It'd be like bringing out a Ford Sloth. No one would buy it.
A Ford Sloth. I would love that ad campaign. Oh, that's amazing. Oh god, the new Vauxhall Slug.
We had a look around the local village. There wasn't much to it. We did the usual thing and had a look around the church graveyard to see how old the dead people are.
Suzanne, so far. She's gone to the Cotswolds. The room wasn't ready. She's seen the car park, an empty field, and now let's go and play how old the dead people are.
Usual thing of having a look around the church graveyard. Do you make her do that every time you go away?
I like the fact. I want to know what she did for 2 hours when you slept. Did she just look?
She went to a club and a whale of a time.
No, she just looked out at the car park, just like memories.
But that's what you do, though, isn't it? When you go to these places, there's nothing else unless you want fudge, or you know, you walk round a church graveyard and have a look. There's nothing.
We went home. It took 3 hours to drive back. People say they go to the country to see the wildlife. I saw rabbits, pheasants and a fox on the way home. They were all dead in the road. I was just intrigued to know, because Rob from Burton-on-Trent has sent this in, and he wants to know that, because he's just started seeing someone, and he wants to know what your advice, Carl, is on how to keep her happy. You know, he's just started a relationship with someone. He wants to know what your advice would be to keep her happy, because, you know, I mean, he won't have heard that you took Suzanne on that wonderful trip to the Cotswolds. So, what's your your advice really for someone who's perhaps just started a relationship? I mean, you've been with Suzanne for what, 9 years?
Ages. I don't think you should have to go out of your way to please them, because then it's not the right person. I think you should just do what you want, and then if they like it, then they're the right ones for you. So don't go out of your way too much. I mean, I got the posh badge for a birthday. That's once a year. Rest of the time, it's kind of like, you know, I like weird stuff. I like watching weird stuff and all that. Now and again, I won't make her watch it. I'll tape it.
This is amazing advice.
But sometimes
this is amazing advice.
Sometimes you just say, no, come on, the bloke with the 2 heads on, I want to watch it live.
So give and take is what you're saying there.
That's all. It shouldn't be hard. As soon as it's hard, it's not right. So just go about your business. See if she joins in.
Brilliant. Another quote for the book.
Woke up to the Commonwealth Games on the radio. Now, what are you making of the Commonwealth Games? Is that something that interests you? Are you a sports fan?
I'm not really. I mean, Suzanne's sort of been getting up early, especially to watch it. You know how I feel about a lot of it. It just seems to be sort of wasted. If people are running fast, use it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than just trying to beat your own record or someone else's, do something where you do have to run. If you're a good swimmer, be a lifeguard. Don't be messing about going up and down.
I was swimming recently. I do a lot of swimming, and I've never quite mastered my front crawl. Just never quite nailed the breathing, because it's quite tricky, isn't it? You know, you've got to breathe at the right moment. And so I'm in the swimming pool in the local gym, and there's a guy bombing up and down, really doing a great forward stroke. So I waited till he came up, and sort of went, excuse me, mate. I was just watching you when you were doing your front crawl. I was really impressed. Could you just watch me when I do mine and tell me if I'm going
Why
right?
would you go to a man?
I know, and that was what that was the problem. Is only as I was saying it did I realise what it sounded like. I've just been watching you swimming up and down. I was really impressed.
And you're both in speedos.
Both in speedos. You know, I'm got the goggles on.
Oh, you got a special.
special orthopedic, special prescription goggles so I can see when I'm swimming.
How much were they?
Quite pricey.
But why do you need them? There's nothing in a pool to look at. It's not like you're scuba diving. There's
Well,
nothing.
hold on. Clearly, there is something to look at in a pool.
Well, no, I wasn't checking. Well, I was checking him out, but I was checking him out for swimming tips. And he just looked at me when I asked him, "Can you just watch me and offer me any tips?" And he just
See,
looked at me like I was just mental.
That is such a strange thing to say. Can you just watch? I don't know how you had the nerve to do that.
Well, it was innocently motivated.
Well, I know it's innocent, but what a strange thing to go up to someone and...
But what civilization are we living in where we can't just ask our fellow man to help us out with our forward crawl?
But we're in a society where we can't. But you know that. It's a strange thing to say.
But sometimes it's nice to just think, no, do you know what? I'm not going to fall into the trap of thinking
agree.
he's immediately going to think I'm gay or that I'm chatting him out. I'm just going to ask him to do me a favour. There's nothing wrong with that.
What if he said, yeah, it's just good, yeah. Do you mind coming and help me with my plastering? You'd have said, no, I can't.
But it's not the same. He's in the swimming pool. He's there in the pool. He's swimming up and down. He's, it's not no skin off his nose to just offer a bit of kindly advice. If your car's broken down in the middle of nowhere and someone drives by, it's a generous thing to do. Just stop and maybe look under the bonnet and help them out.
I agree.
But I don't see how it's any different. And in the end he did, and all he asked was that I wake him off. No, he didn't. I'm joking. That's the jingle for Rockbusters, a quiz which I don't think anyone enjoys. I mean, Carl doesn't enjoy writing them, we don't enjoy listening to them, the listeners from the emails are just not interested, so don't know why we bother. But anyway,
Right,
here we go.
last week's clues, go.
The first one, it's cryptic clue, just in case.
No,
it's the
stop
first time
saying
you've heard
cryptic,
it.
'cause they're not
Clue
cryptic.
with initials of an artist or a band. You work it out, you send in the answers. Right, the first one, the initials were SC, right? And the cryptic clue was, I went into the restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. The fella making the food, he was there each time.
Okay.
Right? So you got to think about it, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, just tell us the answer.
What is he?
He's
He's a cook, isn't he, if he's making the food
Yeah.
and that. If he was there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's the same cook.
Yeah, yeah.
So what have you got there?
Same cook.
Same cook.
Sam Cook. Sam
You
Cook.
said same cook.
Yeah, but if I went, the way I look at it is, if I worked in a
The
record
way you
shop,
look at it is,
if I worked
you
in a
get
record
close you
shop,
can
someone
and
came
just
and
say
said,
it.
"You got Sam Cook?" I'd go, "Yeah, sure, he's in the jazz section or whatever." Right, the second one.
Bollocks, that is bollocks, that one.
Go into that woman's store and rip her off. Right. So what's a store?
Shop.
Right. If you're ripping someone off, what are you doing?
Stealing.
Another way of
Conning.
Right. Okay. And what is it? It's a shop. It's a woman. So what am I saying?
What's the initial?
C.
Con shop.
Right. It's a woman.
Corner shop. Corner shop.
There you
corner
go.
shop.
So Steve worked that one out. Well done there. The last one.
I'm stunned.
You've had a go at laying down a track, but it ain't perfect.
Go on. What's that?
So a track is
Yeah, what's the initial?
E.
Okay.
So you've had a go at laying down this track.
Yeah.
So when you're laying down a track, it's like it's a mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've had a go at doing it. You've just it ain't perfect. So you could say what's another word for not perfect? It's a bit of a
Shit.
bit of a like, that's a bit rough, innit? It's a bit of a rough mix. It's your rough mix.
Your rough mix.
Your Rough Mix. I've never heard of that band.
That's not bad.
Annie Lennox, isn't it? Your rough mix. So
Your Rough Mix.
Candice Morris in London got them.
I really don't know what to say.
So signed picture off to
You're
her.
I feel embarrassed that we're still doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're jacking it in a bit.
Should we just
Yeah.
should we just not mention it again like it never happened?
Well, let's do Monkey News next week.
No, we're not doing Monkey News. There's nothing going on. I'd be doing it if there was Monkey News going on. It's not going on. We can't do it. Rockbusters has to fill the gap. Are we doing this week's?
Hurry up.
CK.
Depressing.
Oh God, we've got this week's to come. I thought the week's was
me.
over.
CK.
Okay, now.
Do you know the songs that you sing at Christmas? That bloke who sings them is brilliant at it. Right? CK. Second one. MG. I told the homosexual man that the grape tree was mine.
What?
I told the homosexual man that the grape tree was mine.
And what's the initials?
MG. Right?
Okay.
Bit of an easy one. And I ask you if you believe in Father Christmas, right? What would you say if I asked you? The initial is S.
Is that specifically Ricky?
We might as well keep it as Ricky, yeah. I ask you if you believe in Father Christmas, what would you say?
So have they got? Is there any prior knowledge? Do they have to guess what I'd say?
Well, they'd know. It's obvious what you'd say about it.
Oh, this is so bad.
So
It's an embarrassment. This.
Yeah.
So it's a little quiz. Leave them thinking with that for the next week.
Right. What are you going to do about
Email
next
in.
week?
Podcast@rickygervais.com. Just send them in.
Embarrassing. Don't bother if they're shit.
Right.
Well, that's about it for another week. It's the end of number 5, number 6 next week. Keep coming to rickygervais.com. We'll keep you abreast of things that are going on. We've made a little video, haven't we, Carl? We might pop up there. And we've had a few emails about the old shows. People came into them late in the season. Well, you can now get all 12 episodes of the first season on iTunes. And I think there's a 2 or 3 quid in England, or $5 or so, I'm not sure. But you can get those now, all 12. So, from me, Ricky Gervais, goodbye. From Steve Merchant,
Goodbye.
and from Carl Pilkington.
Right.
Audible hopes you've enjoyed this program. This is Audible.
Hello, welcome to number 6, the final episode in this season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant,
Hello.
and Carl Pilkington.
Alright.
You can still go and get the archive, all 18 episodes we've done so far. That's available on iTunes and audible.co.uk. And there's a little video diary we've done, a little free podcast. We may go into free podcasting, but in video, Steve.
Ah.
And there's a little free taster up there. So check that out. Go to rickygervais.com to find out all news and everything. But come on, let's get on with this episode. We're here and now.
This is right, yeah, absolutely, here we are. Good,
Carl,
go.
I've got some bad news to start off with straight away. The world's oldest tortoise, a 250-year-old tortoise, died last week.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, in a zoo in India. 250 years old.
So would that have had that thing that they say about how you get a flashback of your life?
You mean your life flashes before your eyes?
Yeah, they say, don't they? Just like on your last breath or whatever. You like see you coming out of the womb and everything.
Well, one, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe your life flashes before you. I don't know what evidence we've got. People who die say, you never guess what's happening.
No, but there's loads of things that have happened where people go, oh, that's weird. That goes to show that we've been around before, or.
No, it doesn't. There's none. I have no evidence for that.
Well, I told you that time when it happened to me when I was younger.
Go on.
Your life flashed before your eyes?
Well, it wasn't like a flashback, but it was close. It's the next thing next to flashbacks. It was I was having a bath, right, and my mum had like run the bath and that, and she said, "Is that too warm?" And I said something like, "No, it's all right. It's a lot better than when I used to have a bath in that wooden bath in front of the fire."
Okay.
And she was like, "What?" And I said, "It happened years ago." She was a bit like, "Oh," and I can't remember that now, but she talks about it, and that just goes to show that, because I was at an age when I wouldn't have known about wooden baths years ago in front of fires.
No, but you talk rubbish now. So all you were doing, you were talking rubbish from an early age. Where's the problem?
No, but you can only talk rubbish if you're aware of knowledge.
Well,
I didn't know about wooden baths, so
You
why
didn't-
would I have
But
invented
Carl,
that?
we've only got your mother's word on this, and she thought you might one day be a doctor.
Yeah.
So,
She put a rock with a feather on it to keep a parrot company.
lest we forget.
Bollocks.
So have you researched this? You've tried to find out when little Karl Mark I and his wooden bath when he was
No, I
young?
don't want to go there, because that's when you start digging out all sorts
It's
of trouble, innit?
rubbish. It's rubbish.
No, it's not rubbish.
Well, it is
what
rubbish.
sort of stuff might
There's
you
no
discover?
scientific evidence.
No,
for-
just like I've said about family trees and that, don't be looking at them, because you're only going to find stuff you don't really want to know about. It's the same as that, innit? Leave it, let it be. Do you know what I mean? If your granddad was Einstein, you'd know about it because your family would be shouting about it. If he was a bad one, you go, oh, keep that quiet. So don't look at family trees, and it's the same. Don't be looking back in your past lives, because
no
God knows
past
what you've been
lives.
up to. Well,
Carl in the Wooden Bath. Proof. If
Carl
proof be needed.
Pilkington, live on air, talking shit again.
but this taught us. So if that's
And also, its flashbacks would just be, the same wall. I mean, it basically spent, I don't know how many years, in a cage. It was in the zoo, so, it died of liver failure. Which is a problem if you're a tortoise, because with us, they can cut you open and have a look at the liver. With that, it's going, forget it, we're not getting in there. It's like you when you didn't want the plumbers to knock through the tiles to check out the piping. It's around with the tortoise. If it's a liver, we're not going through that. It's not worth it. If it's your head or your feet, we'll have a look, mate. But we're not looking at internal organs with a giant tortoise.
why not?
Because, what do you mean?
Well, can't you drill into those things? It is only a shell. That is easier to replace than skin.
Carl, I was joking. You can't do a liver operation on a tortoise.
Why not? It's got all the same parts, hasn't it? All the same body parts and that.
Well, I think that's the point. Well, not really, but yeah, it's
But
loosely
better
speaking.
ones in a way, because they live longer. So they're doing something right, aren't
Right.
they? If they can live 250 odd years, our art can't do that.
Right.
Which is what I say about our tortoise has got it right in a way, that it's taking its time on everything. We're rushing it out, getting stressed out. That's just, getting on with it. It's not rushing. It eats healthy, doesn't it? It eats lettuce and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably doing it right, but to be honest, it's too much. I wouldn't want to live 250 years.
Just eating lettuce. Let's not forget that all the tortoise does is eat lettuce. It's not like it's jet skiing weekends and then getting its lettuce on a Monday. That's all it does is eat lettuce.
Yeah.
And that appeals to you, does it?
No, I'm just saying that it must be doing something right, though,
Of course it's doing something right.
because it's living 250 years.
But all animals do something right, however long they live. Mayflies live a day, but they're doing something right.
Well, they're not, are they? They haven't got a chance to learn how to do it right, and then they're dead. It's, that's from one extreme to another, isn't it? That just seems a bit mental to me, that living a day. I wouldn't bother, so forget it. Could you be bothered? You don't, just as you get to know someone.
Yeah, another mayfly.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, if we had that, if that's how we lived our lives, you wouldn't have a chance to make a mark or anything, would you? It's just...
Would you try and pack a lot in that day? Disneyland, whatever.
No, I prefer to make it miserable so I don't miss it, if you know what I mean. But I was thinking the other day about, your body and everything, because it is amazing, isn't it? How it works.
Oh, yeah.
Does the brain control you, or are you controlling the brain? I don't know if I'm in charge of mine.
Nor do I,
There's a surprise.
Nor do I,
No,
Carl.
do you know what I mean, though, by that?
Does the brain control you, or do
Well,
you control the brain?
don't you ever sort of think sometimes, say if you're making...
But you
I
are
was
the
making,
brain.
No, but I was making a shopping list, right? Going, right, I need some rice, kidney beans, and I thought I had everything, and I sort of was rolling up the paper, and then something went, oh, an onion.
Your brain did
Something
that.
went an onion. Was it
No,
Suzanne?
well, my brain sort of went, you forgot something.
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd forgot. I was
No,
putting
you
that-
are your brain.
No, but don't you understand? My brain was I was in control of my brain when I was writing down rice and kidney beans.
But you're not in charge of the onion. That's another part of the brain that's in charge of the onion.
The onion sector.
No, but I put the paper away, putting my coat on, ready to go to go and get the rice.
Yes, but your onion lobe kicked in.
What, so you put the paper in your pocket, you got the coat on, then you just suddenly hear
Then
from
it was
nowhere,
just like,
onion.
Yeah, I'm not even thinking about that shopping list. It's in my pocket. I'm thinking, do I need my gloves? It's cold out.
Yeah.
Suddenly, onion. And it was like, oh yeah, onion. Yeah, I had to get the paper out. So what I'm saying is,
But
who's in charge?
The brain, the mind, the brain is the... What are you doing? Who's in
That's
charge?
just, you forgot the onion and then you remembered the onion. You must have forgotten things in the past.
No, but not like that. Not where, like, it just made me think, that was weird. Who reminded me of that?
You did.
Yeah, but I'm not...
No, you are your brain. It's not like there's you, then there's a brain, then there's an extra one looking down at it. The meta brain, the thing above it.
No, but your brain... How how does your brain work? You give it information, don't you?
Well, it takes.
Do you mean you give it information?
If I sat in a room with nothing, not feeding it anything, it wouldn't know anything.
No, but there's this thing that there's two yous. It's this thing that there's this,
Carl and Carl's brain.
Yeah, there's not a duality in this. If you go, come on, now think. That's the brain saying that to itself. It's not. There's not two people in there having an argument. Come on, brain. And the brain's going, oh, don't you start, I was thinking then. And the other thing's going, brain, onion. And the brain goes, Carl, onion. You are your brain. If you are anything, you are your mind, your brain, your collection of memories, your personality. You're not what you look like. Does that answer your question, Carl? What do you think then? You were thinking of a tortoise on a skateboard then when I did that last sentence, weren't you?
I, like you, Rick, I'm always annoyed and embarrassed when we have to concede something to Carl. And it seems though each week I look on the emails that we've got, and once again someone has found some evidence to support some of the nonsense that Carl has come out with. Now, you remember we were talking about his concept of putting a giant mirror on the moon, because why should we have to go into space? Then we could just look up at the moon and we'd see the Earth reflected back at us, and we'd think, that's the Earth. Isn't it great?
Can't see myself backing down on how ludicrous this is.
No, indeed. Although someone, I think they're really being very picky. They were picking you up on a technical point, because I think one of your criticisms was the idea that the moon is moving and thus the mirror would, be absent from view for some time. Although people have been claiming that the moon, there's always the same face of the moon that's shown to us. There's always the same side of the moon is always visible to Earth. That's when they talk about the dark side of the moon. It's not just light. It's the fact that we can't see. It's the other side of the moon.
No, but we move, so it's not always present.
No, but it would always be present to someone on Earth.
Yes, I know. Wait, this is the thing. These people don't know what I know. I know that Carl is thinking of looking up there and seeing himself looking back. That's what he's hoping. Like when you're going along in a car and you see a shiny building, you go, oh, that's my car. And you wait. That's what he's hoping to see. He's not doing it to gauge the speed of light and think and change like that. He's not doing that. He wants to look up through a telescope and wave.
Yeah.
That's what they don't realise. I know what he's thinking.
Do you want to respond, Carl?
He's got the problem with the moon is.
Here's a statement. The problem with the moon is ...
Yeah. The problem with the Earth is there's too much water.
Yeah.
No, the moon. It's been around ages, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's got no history. It's got nothing to show for it. It's a load of old rocks and stuff. Yeah. And for me, history is created by stuff happening on it. So really, the moon, even though it's old, in a way it's new, because it's untouched and that.
But we don't go to the moon to visit museums or arcades.
No, but say like Henry VIII, right? You watch Antiques Roadshow or whatever, and some woman goes, "Oh, this plate you've got, this was Henry VIII's," and as you can see the knife marks on it. Oh look, there's some chicken on it, right? And you go, oh god, yeah, that's amazing. Then someone goes in and goes, here's a plate of Henry VIII's, but it hasn't been used, it's still in the box. You'd go, well, it's not as good, that. It's got no history.
No, because very often on the Antiques Roadshow, they have Henry VIII's plate with a bit of chicken on it. They kept that. Don't throw that away. Why? Arthur Negus are like that in a few hundred years' time.
No, but do you understand what I'm saying? Things are only good if stuff's happened on it. The moon, you're up there, you're having a look, you're going, no one else has even been here.
But you go to the moon for research purposes, for scientific research.
There, Steve.
What do you mean there's nothing there? They're examining the soil and the environment and the air.
It's just a lot.
Well, they're not doing that. They're just not doing that.
Well, they're not, are they? Because last time they went up, they were playing golf or something. There's golf balls up there that they've been whacking about. What sort of research is that? That's what I'm saying. There's nothing up there, so why else would you go all that way and go, oh, nothing here. Fancy a knockabout? Why are they knocking golf balls about if there's really important stuff to look at? You don't see people in museums going, fancy having a knock some golf balls about? No, I'm looking at this vase. Oh, right, that's interesting. But on the moon, nothing. Nothing to look at. What other games have you brought? That's what I mean.
Carl, have you ever seen the programme Inside the Actors Studio?
No.
James Lipton interviews famous actors and gets words of advice about, how they work and how they act. But at the end, he always asks a series of questions, which is based on a French series of questions that a guy called Bruno Pivot used to give people when he interviewed them. So I'm going to ask you some of these questions. Many people will be familiar with them. It's just interesting to see what your response is. And, answer them quickly. You don't have to think about them too much. What is your favourite word?
I don't think I've got a favourite, because you only use them when you need to, don't you? I don't just go about saying the same word. So,
Well, alright.
yeah, it's not my favourite, it's just that it does the job. It does the necessary job for that time, doesn't it? It's like, how are you? I'm alright. It's a greeting.
What about, I think serendipity was voted England's favourite word.
Never used it.
No, stupid word.
Who decided that?
Don't know, there's a poll, but I will suggest things. I can't believe people come out going, favourite word, serendipity.
Thanks for asking.
So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the thing is, say if it meant, I'm fed up, will it still be the best word? Is it based on how it sounds and how it's put together, or what it means?
I think everything.
But then loads of words are being left out on, which are probably brilliant words, and they're not getting a look in.
Such as?
Well, like that one, fed up. I'm fed up. It
Two
sums it up,
words,
doesn't it?
two
Well,
words.
two, it just sums it up. When someone goes, how are you? You go, I'm fed up, mate. Sick of it. It's another good one.
Oh, we get to it. Come on, some of your other favourites, right?
I've had enough. It's just all stuff
These aren't words, they're phrases. They're all negative, they're all whinging. These aren't words. What's your favourite thing? My favourite thing to do is moan.
Yeah.
That would be well, it's not one word, it's loads of words. Fed up, sick of it. Enough. Jeez.
Whinge should be your favourite word.
Yeah. Whinge is a good word. I like NGEs. Lozenge, whinge, flange.
Yeah. What is your least favourite word?
It might be serendipity. That would be up there for me. I tell you, that would be up there for me.
Probably like French words that have made it into the English thing.
Blancmange.
Just
There's an unge there. So,
How could you dislike it?
How can you just like blancmange?
but just as if we haven't got. I was thinking about
Go on.
alphabet, right? Why have we got that many when other countries get by without that many letters in it?
We got more words than any other language as well.
But that's because we got more letters.
Well, I don't know.
So
that.
we've created a headache. I reckon you could at least half it.
Well, you probably could half it.
Well, you only use about half a dozen of them.
No, but stuff like an X, you look at words that have got X in, and they're always words that you go, what does that mean? How's someone come up with that? That's how it comes across to me, and there's loads of big words. It's like dinosaur names. It's like, well, look, nobody was about when they were knocking about, so let's
You've
make
learned
up
that
some.
at least.
Let's make up some names for them using the letters that hardly get used. They've all got Y's and X's in them.
Yeah, they have, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, let's use it for that.
Yeah. So you just, it's not so much what is your least favourite word, you just don't really like most of the words.
Just cut down the words. Stop adding new words. I get by, I don't know how many words there are in the world, but I reckon I hardly use any of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, this year's word must be podcast.
Yeah, but
That'll be in the dictionary, and
but it's made up, innit? It wasn't here before, it's just another one. This is what I'm saying about.
but what else would you call this? You know, there is a new
broadcast.
concept called podcasting. It's a podcast.
But it's also a broadcast. We had a word for it. It's still a broadcast.
Yeah, but you're a broadcaster. Oh, what radio station? No, I don't work on a radio station. I do a radio show, but I don't understand. Well, I do a radio show and I upload. I don't understand. It's called a podcast. Done.
Here's another idea.
Go
Add
on.
a new one. Get rid of an old one. Last one in, first one out, or whatever. Do it that way. That's a good way.
What would you get rid of then? So we brought in podcast this year, but what word would you lose?
Well, what's her name? Those birds that died out.
Dodos.
Get rid of it. If the bird's gone, the word can. Surely.
This one was profound. It's amazing. It's great. Oh God.
What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Learning.
That's a nice answer.
Excellent.
Learning.
Will you say that?
Yeah, but everything you teach me, I take it in. It's just that sometimes I go, I don't get it. But that still counts as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, it doesn't. Learning is knowledge is. There must be some sort of retention. You can't say I've got a great memory for a second. You can't say that. It has to stay there, and then knowledge has to be, applied. You can't just have all this knowledge that isn't applicable because it's useless. I mean, trivia is useless to a large extent. It's not real knowledge because it doesn't really help you in practically.
No, but there's a lot of that going on. You're always reading stuff that you go, I've just read that. It's got me thinking for a minute. It's not going to help me in any way, but it gets a reaction, doesn't it?
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's what art does, and yeah, sometimes education's good for its sake if it really does inflame. But
then sometimes, like I've said before, you can know too much where it gets you down.
Go on.
I just was reading something about an octopus. That's like a killer octopus, and it annoyed me that this was knocking about now because I didn't know. I thought they were quite friendly. Whenever you see them in cartoons and that, they're always happy, aren't they? And then suddenly, like, they've sort of brought the whole sort of creature down. Do you know what I mean?
No, what do you mean?
Well, just when you see them in films, they're running about and that, and everybody likes an octopus. But this one that's on it was your fault really, because you told me about that frog that's going about killing people.
No, I didn't say that.
So I looked it up on the internet at like other creatures and stuff, and there's some octopus that's in the sea, and what it does, you don't even have to like threaten it. It just spits in the water, and if that stuff gets on you, does you in.
Again,
So in a way it's good knowledge, because I don't go in the sea anyway because it's full of stuff like that, but that's just reassured me that I'm doing the right thing. If they're knocking about just gozzing everywhere, you don't even have to be near one. You don't even know if it's been spitting and stuff. It can kill you. It just seems unfair. I haven't harmed it. I haven't gone near it. Why is it getting annoyed with me? Doesn't seem right. So that's where knowledge has not helped that octopus out. Because now, when you eat them, I just think, yeah, have another one. Do you know what I mean? Get rid of them.
Another conversation with himself. Another conversation with himself.
What is your favourite curse word?
I don't think I do anything like that. I think people can tell by my face when I'm like fed up.
Well, they know you're fed up because you're always whinging.
I don't think I've got one. Knobhead. That sums everything up, and I think it's.
But you wouldn't call your nan a knobhead, would you? What would you call a nan?
But she didn't do anything to annoy me that much.
But if she did, what would you say? If she really annoyed you?
Well, knobhead's alright, isn't it? Because she sort of gets it. It's one of them things that everybody understands, but it's not too offensive.
Right.
What a knobhead.
Alright, you're getting into this, aren't you?
So that sums it up, but I don't really. Do you need one of them? What's that doing for you? It's better to think, innit? Like, okay, I've just slagged off that octopus, but at no point was a effing and jeffing about it. You know how annoyed I am with it. I don't have to start swearing about it, and that's.
What would you do though if you were swimming, right? It was a nice little thing. You're on holiday, right? And there's this octopus there, and you're going around, right? And you just see it start spitting at you, poison. What would you say?
Well, it's too late then, isn't it? And I'd kick it, and I'd say, "Knobhead." I would, but what's the point? What's the point in getting annoyed now? Because it's done its stuff on it.
You kick it and come in, knobhead, under the water. What is this octopus thinking? Oh God! Oh, okay, you fucking 8-legged shit.
I'm not bothered. I don't know what you're saying.
Fucking cunt of a mollusk.
I'll just spit at you again. It's not bothered.
You slimy little fucking boneless wanker.
This is why the face.
Are you
is
still
good.
talking to the octopus?
Oh, I don't believe it. He's written it down.
That's downloadable as a ringtone. And it's also the jingle for Kyle's diary. Just reading excerpts of Kyle's diary. Went home and looked up Freud on the internet. Didn't find him that interesting, so looked at some other philosophers instead. Socrates, Aristotle. Why have you just listed some philosophers?
Just to show that I'm learning.
Well, that's not learning.
That's just learning their names.
That's a list. You might as well write 1 to 100.
Yeah, but if someone says, "Oh, what's your favourite philosopher?" I'll go, "Hang on a minute," and I've got them written down.
But why you can't just pick
I'll
one?
go and get my enormous diary out.
Yeah. Get a wheelbarrow, bring in my workings, and say one of the names I've written
And
down.
when they say, well, why do you like him?
Yeah, why do you
just
like
run away?
I noticed you put Socrates first. Why is he your favourite philosopher?
You throw the diary at them and leg it. Oh, and then you go on to say, it's weird how names have changed, but then there's no other point there.
It just is, isn't it? When you think about, like, Socrates, I've never heard that on anyone who I know. Is what I mean. It's just, in a way...
But you're not Greek, are you?
But how did that go about back then? I mean, say if you were phoning someone up and they said, I'm booking a table for 2, they go, name? Socrates. Did he ever go, cheers? Without going, can you spell that for me?
But I don't know what point you're making.
I'm just saying it's a name that's awkward. You're always going to have to go, can you spell that for me? You go, and it's not just him. Look at all the other names that are on that list.
But they're from a different country.
And a different era.
Yeah, I know, but the names, I've been to Rome and stuff, and you sort of go...
Well, ancient Rome.
Just Rome. It hasn't changed, has it? Rome, so it can be ancient Rome or Rome in 2006. It's the same buildings.
I used to love Nero going around in his Fiat Punto.
Lao Tzu from years ago came up with some good stuff. 1, he who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Not entirely true. To lead people, walk behind them.
Yeah.
And of course, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with 1 step.
Good that.
Just favourites.
Maybe this is why people are at the start line spectating at the Commonwealth Games.
Well, no, it's just that I've never understood why in Olympics and stuff like that, if you're going to watch, don't stand around the start line, go to the end, where you see the winner. But because of that saying, it actually makes sense, doesn't it? It's like, well, every step starts with a step, or whatever.
Say it again?
Every race, you've got to start with a step.
Yeah.
So,
Which is, who am I talking to now? You or your brain?
well, I was thinking about it a bit, so I think I was in control of it a bit more.
So, and what have you come up with?
Just if you want to stay at the start line, do.
What does that mean?
I'm just saying, if you're into, I wouldn't watch a race, right?
Okay.
But
Is this you or your brain I'm talking to now?
this is me.
Okay.
I wouldn't watch.
Are you gonna bring the brain into it, or is it? There's no.
I don't know. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
But all I'm saying is,
Right.
if I was to watch a race,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hang about the start line because.
Well, you just said you would.
What did I?
Yeah, you said that's the place to start because every race starts with a step.
No, but I wouldn't normally.
Right.
I won't watch any
The
race.
brain definitely hasn't been used
So,
yet.
is this you or your brain you're talking about now? It would,
I'm just saying about me. If I was on holiday
yeah.
and Suzanne said there's a race going on down the road,
Yeah.
I'd go, well, let's go, keep going down the road and stand at the finish line.
Okay, but now what have
according
you
to
thought?
Lazoo,
Yeah.
I'd say, well, hang on a minute, every race starts with a single step.
Yeah.
How many people around the start line? Is there more room there? She goes, yeah. I'll go, let's go there then, it's less busy.
Right. And what would you see there then?
I'd see people starting the race, but I wouldn't be that impressed with them because I'd go, well, I don't know if any of these are any good.
So would you start at the start or the end then?
If it was down to me, I'd just probably stay at the finish line.
Okay, so you wouldn't want to see the first step then. So what do you think of Lazoo now then?
It's not what, but I wrote down 3 of his. That one isn't my favourite. That was the 3rd. I preferred the leading people from behind.
Okay, and what would you do to lead someone now then?
Well, if you're behind, you don't have to take responsibility, do you? You can go, well, I didn't send you here. You went there.
That's not really leading them, though, is it?
Yeah, because I've made them think. I've gone. They go, oh, I've just walked into a big hole. I'd go, oh, should have been looking where you're going. I haven't led them in that hole, but they've learnt a lesson. They won't go in a hole again.
That was one of the greatest conversations I've ever been a part of. I mean, that was incredible. Never mind Aristotle and Socrates. That was incredible, that. if someone's out there, could they make a transcript of that? Because I think that, you know, in 1,000 years' time, that'd be amazing. That was incredible, Carl.
And not once was the brain used. That's the jingle there for Rockbusters, the one of the most hated quizzes in the history of mankind.
Joking, aren't you?
The people loathe it.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
It's the last one anyway, so